And what I want us to remember here is something that we've talked about before, but it really does bear repeating. The biblical authors all had their own reasons for the reason that they were writing their biblical accounts, right? The gospel authors had their own intentions in writing. Their biblical or biographical accounts of Jesus's life and the biographical accounts in the life of the ancient people in history is different than what we think of today. You pick up a biography today and it's going to start with the person's childhood and kind of move through their life. Well, that's not how ancient people wrote biographies. They wanted to tell stories about the person, and sometimes they would rearrange events to tell that story more clearly. And so what Luke does in his gospel is he takes this account that takes place later in Matthew's gospel and later in Mark's gospel, and he moves it to the forward. So he's not concerned about chronological timelines. Rather, he is most concerned about theological implications. So Luke, though he takes this story in the gospel and moves it forward, doesn't mean that this event didn't happen. It's just that he's setting a framework for the entirety of his gospel. Remember, he has theological intentions for writing this gospel. And Luke's theological intentions for writing this gospel is to proclaim that Jesus came not just to save the Jews, but to save those who are outcasts, those who are Gentiles. And so we see this in this framework. So Jesus' first proclamation of the gospel is to set forth the stage that he came to save sinners. He came not just for the Jewish people, but for all people. So that's why this story has been rearranged in Luke's gospel rather than where it is in Matthew and Mark's gospel. So he front loads the story to teach and prepare us as readers of his gospel on how to view and to interpret his gospel account.